Welcome to Legal Dilemmas, where you will find clear, concise legal advice. The topic for today is a prenuptial agreement. Safina, can you answer the question whether it is necessary to have a prenuptial agreement before you marry?
I think this is a personal preference point, but it is advisable, especially if you've got significant financial assets or you're likely to come into significant financial assets because you want to protect your wealth. And it will depend a lot on what the discussion is, but it's not legally binding. You need to remember that, Brenda, our viewers need to be well aware of that. It's considered one of the circumstances of the case that the court would take into consideration on the breakdown of a relationship. And that's because, if we look at policy, we want to try and make sure people don't prepare for the breakdown of a marriage before it actually gets off the ground. I mean, it's not very good vibes. So providing people get good independent legal advice, they have a written agreement, and it's some time before the marriage takes place, then it will have weight, but it's not legally enforceable. Prenuptial agreements do fall into the area of contract law, but they obviously fall into family law because they are considered as one of the circumstances of a family case on financial distribution on a relationship breakdown.
Okay, so do you have to disclose your income and assets before you sign it, or can you just sign it blindly?
Well, to make it fair, equitable and reasonable, you should give full financial disclosure of your income and your liabilities to the other party so that they can then get that independent legal advice from a solicitor before they actually sign the agreement. And remember, both parties need to seek independent legal advice, is to make sure that there's free will and no pressure exerted on someone who's more vulnerable. And invariably it is normally women with children who would fall into that category, which is why it does need to be fair. And I think also it's advisable for a prenuptial agreement to be regularly reviewed, at least every 5 years. So that is fair and reasonable. As you would expect, people will have children, or on the birth of a child, you might want to look at reviewing your prenuptial agreement.
Okay, thank you. So the summary there is that if it is recommended you have a prenuptial agreement, it's not legally binding in the UK, although it is evidence of intention and also evidence of an agreement. However, it should be signed as long as possible before the marriage takes place. And I would say 4 weeks at least.
Yeah, well, I mean, that's what the Law Commission recommends. And the only other thing I think we should let our viewers know is that there's no legal aid or public funding for this. So if this is something you want to do, you would need to instruct a solicitor privately and also seek independent legal advice on a private basis.
Okay, so basically, yes, it's something you have to pay for. Sign it as far in advance as possible before the marriage. Both of you have to have separate solicitors, and you both have to disclose your income, assets and liabilities to ensure the agreement is fair and it has not been signed under duress. Hopefully that answers the question about the necessity of having a prenuptial agreement. If you found this video useful, please like, subscribe and share. We welcome any comments and also have your notifications turned on to hear great legal content.